A Far Cry from Africa, by Derek Walcott is a powerful and evocative poem that addresses themes of identity, colonialism, and the inherent conflicts of a hybrid cultural heritage. Walcott, who was of mixed African and European descent, explores the tensions and moral ambiguities arising from the Mau Mau uprising in Kenya during the 1950s, a brutal conflict between native Kikuyu people and British colonial forces. The poem opens with a vivid depiction of the African landscape, immediately immersing the reader in its beauty and savagery. Walcott describes the natural world in striking terms, juxtaposing the serene and picturesque with the brutal and violent. This duality sets the tone for the poem, highlighting the complex and often contradictory nature of both the land and its history. Walcott delves into the violence of the Mau Mau uprising, portraying the brutal reality of the conflict. He uses graphic imagery to describe the bloodshed and suffering, capturing the visceral horror of the events. The depiction of violence serves to underscore the high stakes and deep-rooted animosities that fuel the conflict, making it clear that the consequences are dire and far-reaching. The poem also reflects on the legacy of colonialism, examining the ways in which it has shaped the land and its people. Walcott critiques the destructive impact of colonial rule, which has left a legacy of division and violence. He portrays the colonizers as both perpetrators of brutality and victims of their own imperial ambitions, suggesting a complex web of culpability and consequence. Walcott grapples with his own divided identity, a central theme of the poem. As a person of mixed heritage, he feels torn between his loyalty to his African roots and his awareness of his European ancestry. This internal conflict is mirrored in the broader societal conflict, making his personal struggle a microcosm of the larger colonial tension. The poem captures the pain and confusion of this divided loyalty, reflecting on the impossibility of reconciling these conflicting identities. The poem's language is rich and layered, blending elements of both African and European literary traditions. Walcott's use of metaphor and symbolism enhances the emotional impact of the poem, allowing him to convey complex ideas and feelings in a nuanced way. The references to both African and European cultural motifs reflect his hybrid identity and the cultural synthesis that defines his work. Walcott also explores the theme of disillusionment, particularly with the romanticized notions of Africa and the ideals of colonialism. He critiques the simplistic and often patronizing views of Africa held by many Europeans, contrasting them with the harsh realities of life on the continent. This disillusionment extends to his own feelings of alienation and loss, as he struggles to find a sense of belonging in a fractured world. The poem questions the morality of violence and the ethical dilemmas faced by those involved in the conflict. Walcott does not offer easy answers, instead presenting the complexity of the situation in all its ambiguity. He acknowledges the righteousness of the anti-colonial struggle while also lamenting the loss of life and the perpetuation of violence. This nuanced perspective challenges the reader to consider the multifaceted nature of justice and resistance. Walcott's portrayal of nature in the poem serves as a powerful metaphor for the human condition. The natural world, with its blend of beauty and brutality, mirrors the complexities of human society. The imagery of the land as both nurturing and violent reflects the duality of the colonial experience, where moments of profound connection coexist with acts of profound cruelty. In the concluding lines, Walcott reflects on his own position as a poet and the role of art in grappling with these difficult issues. He acknowledges the limitations of words in the face of such overwhelming reality, yet also affirms their power to evoke and provoke. The poem ends on a note of unresolved tension, capturing the ongoing struggle to understand and articulate the intricacies of identity, history, and morality. A Far Cry from Africa, by Derek Walcott is a deeply reflective and emotionally charged poem that explores the themes of identity, colonialism, and moral conflict. Through vivid imagery and nuanced language, Walcott delves into the complexities of his own divided heritage and the brutal realities of colonial violence. The poem challenges simplistic notions of good and evil, highlighting the intricate web of loyalties and conflicts that define the human experience. Ultimately, it is a powerful meditation on the enduring impact of colonialism and the ongoing quest for self-understanding and reconciliation.